Everyone, welcome to Rotor Talk Live, Season 8, Episode 45. DJI Status December 23rd is coming. Hope everyone is well tonight. Going to greet everybody and kind of tell you why I was a little late here. Warren Acarascio, Waypoint, New England. Johnny is here. Let's see who else. Gator Drone is here. Let's see. Art is here. Joni Oki is here. Let's see who we got. Joe is here. USA Drone Flyer, Drone Views Media, RJ Redding, Jim Anderson, Danny Kennedy. Let's see who we got. Else we got Sergeant Rock. Thank you for stopping by tonight. Carlos Moran, Gerald Nelson. Drone Stars, John Rocker, John Flynn, welcome, John. Casey Crime Fighter, welcome. All right, thank you guys for stopping by tonight. Reason I'm late is I got some things, but some housekeeping to do here. And one of the things, I post my articles onto Facebook. Everything we talk about will be on here so you can have a reference point. Well, for some reason, and I don't know why this happened, okay, I was posting them out to my Facebook group, and it ended up, or I was posting things out to what I thought was my own personal timeline. They ended up going to my Facebook group, and I got to reboot my computer. I asked Valerie, took a look. She looked on her phone. She said it looked normal to her. So I don't know what in the world is going on. I don't know what is going on. Jeff Voigt, welcome, Jeff. Thank you for stopping by tonight. Appreciate that. Thanks everybody for stopping by. We're getting towards the end of the year. I'm going to be thinking about Zika, welcome. Jerona Tate, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Let's see about getting a very special guest next weekend, and you'll know who it is. Okay, he's instantly recognizable. He's recently put out a fantastic video. I want to get him on the show. I'm sure Ron and I will enjoy talking to him. Koopy, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Drone Views Media, USA Drone Flyer. All right. First thing is this, and yes, I wanted to do this. Today is my mother-in-law's 86th birthday, and happy birthday to my mother-in-law, Janice Masters. She's 86 today. We went out on Saturday. She lives about an hour away. She lives with one of Valerie's sisters. She has her own room there, recliner in her room. Got a nice setup, nice big TV in there. She has her own little space in there, which is fantastic. She's very well taken care of. Just had a wonderful time with her. And I wanted to go ahead. I think I have this here. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and share this. Let's get the banner down here. I wanted to go ahead and share this here. That's not what I wanted to do. Share screen. There we go. Okay. This is a slide presentation that Valerie had put together of her mother and father through the years. But it was very, 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 very good way to honor her mom and remember her, and just a lot of love there, and a lot of love. And Valerie said, mom really had it busy with 8 kids, and she said 9, including my dad. So, and my father-in-law was a big kid. Yes, he absolutely surely was there. And you can see there's a lot of love there. That last picture is of all the siblings, and that's a very recent picture of her right there. So, wanted to share that with all you guys as well too here. One of the other things is I'd be remiss here. First and foremost, any of you who served in any branch of our armed forces, please drop a comment with your name and the branch that you served in. And I want to recognize all of you today and thank you for your service to your country. One thing that people ask me, do I support veterans? And I said, well, my father was a World War II veteran, and I'm going to show you something here in a second. But I want to make sure that everyone here who has served their country is recognized. So please, in the comments, drop it in the comments. I'll try to get them highlighted as I can tonight. I think our country owes you a debt of gratitude that we can never fully repay. But it's because we enjoy the freedoms that we have this day that it's because of you. It's each and every one of you who has ever served in our armed forces, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. I want to share something with you of my dad here. Now, what I did, this was several years ago, and I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna first show you the pictures, and then I'm gonna go ahead and let me go ahead and bring this up here. Now, I also would be remiss not to thank my favorite veteran who's alive, my son-in-law. He served in Kuwait and Afghanistan. Andy, thank you very much for your service. We really appreciate all that you have done for our country. These are some pictures of my dad. My dad was on. I'm going to bring some of these pictures up. That's a USS Lexington CV-16. It was named Lexington. It was scheduled to be named another ship when the original Lexington CV-2 was sunk in the Battle of the Coral Sea. So this is the Lexington in action here in World War II. And there's a picture of my dad. Now, my dad was born in 1921, so he would have been 22 in this picture here. Now, this is the Lexington when it just left the dock at Quincy Shipyards in Boston, Massachusetts. And my dad was known, and for those of you in the Navy know this, my dad was a plank owner. And what a plank owner is the original crew on the ship. My dad was part of the original crew on the USS Lexington. He had basic training in Great Lakes, Illinois, and he went from basic training. They took a train up to Massachusetts, and he was part of the original crew on the ship. And there it is, as they just had everybody board, and they took a long voyage. They went down through the Panama Canal and then out to the Pacific Ocean. And there's my dad. He knew somebody. He knew some guys that flew a PBY Catalina, the flying boat in World War II. And he was an ammunition. Part of his job was aviation ordnance maintenance. And he was actually asked to look at the guns and clean the guns. And he actually got to go for a ride on the plane. And he said he thoroughly enjoyed it. And there is my dad in basic training in Great Lakes, Illinois. And there he is. One of my dad's jobs, one of the things that he had to do with a couple of his shipmates. There's his best friend. His best friend was named Don Shell. He lived out in Illinois. Dad talked about him often. And you can see right there, this is his marker on his grave. Aviation Ordnance Maintenance, U.S. Navy, World War II. So, and what I want to do right now is, let's go ahead. I'm going to see if I can bring that back here. Okay. I wrote a poem for my dad, and this was probably about 5 or so years before he had passed away, and it was really inspirational. And if you allow me a minute, I'm going to go ahead and do that, read that here. It's my Veterans Day tribute to my dad. My dad, a young lad of just 18, had to make a decision that wasn't keen. Losing his father was hard enough. The thought of being drafted was tough. So he chose the United States Navy, for he wanted wings of gold and bravery. His vision wasn't the best, so aviation ordnance was his test. Loading the deadly cargo every day, hoping for peace to come quickly our way. But the ship was hit by a torpedo near some bunks. Dad used to sleep there in his trunks. He was moved about a week before. God was with him now even more. God definitely had a hand on Dad, saving him from all the war's bitter blows. Friends were committed to the deep. Dad cried softly for them in his sleep. While the war was over, they sailed into Tokyo Bay. Devastation had definitely had its way. When the people bowed before all the men, it made them humble, not proud again. People are looking around for heroes, the kind that hit home runs or steal the show. But my kind of hero was one of those, just an ordinary sailor. My dad, willing to stand against all foes. The Lady Lex stood her country proud. For over 40 years, she stood her ground, opposing all of the enemy's blows till Father Time took its toll. God's hand is still over Dad, you see, after heart, hip, and vascular surgeries. Though slower now, we know for sure that when you have Jesus Christ, you win. And I thank you for indulging me with that. Hi, Ron.
Hello, Bill. Happy Veterans Day.
Happy Veterans Day, indeed. Just wrote a poem that I dedicated to my dad about 5 years before he passed away.
I heard most of it. It was great, Bill.
Thank you, Ron. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And again, for those of you, thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Danny, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you guys for doing that. I really appreciate it. And Jeff, thank you for doing that as well, too. And Richard, I did not know that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank all you guys for doing that. I really appreciate you guys sharing what branch of the services you were with. Continue to do that through the show. Thank you, Art. I appreciate that. All right. We've got a lot to talk about tonight. Great show last night on Drone Nation. I watched most of that till about 10 o'clock. Then I went and I watched the Panthers beat the Vegas Golden Knights, and they stole the season series from the Golden Knights 2-0. Sorry, not sorry, Bob Dempsey, about your Golden Knights. But it was a good game. We needed a good game for our Panthers. So,
well, actually, of course, Steeler Nation talk later at the end of the show.
Oh, yeah. We're going to have
I want to hear who hijacked the Steelers' offense Sunday night.
Well, this is absolutely funny, okay? And just a quick side note, and we'll talk more about this later. But Valerie and I are watching through The Office, seasons 1 through 9, okay? And in season 9, they had some guest celebrities do like a American Idol kind of thing. And you know who one of them was? Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, wow. I thought
that was common. Yeah, I told Valerie, I said, do you know who that is? She said, no. I said, that's Aaron Rodgers. He's a quarterback for the Steelers. Yeah, so we're not gonna say any more about all that. So.
Hey, Bill, you mentioned our good friend Richard a few minutes ago, and I teased it last night. Are we gonna show or talk about Richard's study he did on the Mini 5 batteries?
No, I was gonna save that for next week.
Okay. Save it
for next week. I did hear you talk about that, but I did want to get to that next week. So okay. Yeah. Let's see here what we got. All right.
Hey, but before, I don't want to disrupt the show, but look what I got in the mail last week. I forgot to show you last week. I got my Mini 5 drone through UPS, and I got a detailed analysis of the duties and tariffs I paid here, whatever. Has anybody seen anything like this before, Bill?
No, I haven't. And Chasm, thank you. Appreciate that very much.
Yeah, thank you. And guess what? They did list it as a drone, but guess what? They listed the value of the drone as. This is my eBay seller.
What they say?
$200.
Oh my God!
I paid tariffs on what should have been $200 drone. I paid I paid $30 tariff, and then I paid $14 in like fees for $200.
Well, I got a story before we get started with our articles here that I wanted to share with everybody, and I'm glad you're here. My Mavic 4 Pro, okay, and I shared with people, and they noticed it during my unboxing video, and they said that box looked like it was ripped open because the box that you said with yours had all the adapters in it.
Yes.
Okay, mine only had the one. In fact, the adapter wasn't even in it. There was just one cable in there. Okay, and the box had been ripped open, and then I looked on because I'd taken some still pictures as well of the shrink wrap that was on the box. It was a different type. The shrink wrap is normally it's very pliable. This one wasn't very pliable. That's not the kind that DJI uses. Plus, they put a security tape on the inside of that. Okay, the security tape was on the outside of the wrap. So it had been previously open. Now, what I did was with the seller, he was great. I sent it back and I got a full refund on it. And I'm going to go, and I'm not going to leave him back because he took it back. It was after the return period. He took it back. So what I'm going to do, I found another seller for less from South Korea with no shipping charges and no tariffs, and I'm going to get that after the show tonight. But I wanted to kind of keep everybody apprised of that. So, you kind of got to be careful, as I'm saying, and vet these sellers. I mean, you just got to do it. I mean, because, I don't know what the history of that drone was, okay? Because you can go in and unregister that. So, what do I know? Now, it appeared like the drone itself and other things had not been opened, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So, it was better to play it safe, and that's what I'm going to do. And I sent a message to a couple of sellers out there, and they assured me 100% it's sealed from the factory. So, I'm good to go, and I checked feedback out on that.
That's a good catch, Bill. Hey, before we get into stories, real quick, since you brought up eBay, did you see it? There's a lot of buzz today about, I guess, just recently, the Neo 2s have hit eBay. They've hit the South Korean stores. Okay, a whole bunch.
Okay, that's good.
Stores, not the same names we saw with our previous drones, but new names. They have the Neo, and I'll break it down a bit for you. Basically, if you were to buy the package that has just the drone, one battery, that's going between $300 and $350. If you want to buy the package that has the drone, the three batteries, that's going for between $400 and $450. If you want to buy the package that's got everything, the drone, the 3 batteries, the controller, and that module, that's going for like between $500 and $550.
Okay.
That's basically the breakdown there. And of course, most people are charging shipping. It usually goes around a $30 price point, So
that's not bad. That's reasonable. But when is it? The 13th is when the
worldwide release. Yes,
the worldwide release. Except
and most of these people claim shipping. The early date they claim is November 18th. So it may say November 18th to December 1st. I'm making the second date up, but most of them are promising a early date as the 18th of November, which would be a week from today.
Okay. Well, one of the things that I'm encouraging people to do, this is good. These listings aren't going to, there'll be plenty of listings out there, guys. It's like, don't go out. Wait until after the 13th is my recommendation, because a lot more sellers will have them and have them listed on eBay. And chances are you can see some better prices with that. So hang tight. Just hang tight for a couple of days. That's my recommendation.
Plus also, if maybe hang tight anyways, because you got the Action 6 coming next week. You've got all these rumors of this DJI 360 drone. You've got the Insta 360 drone. There's pocket firmwares. There's a whole bunch of stuff possibly coming out, but between now and Christmas. So if you don't want to shoot your wad on the Neo 2 and not having money left over, you may want to hang back until you see what's available if you're on a limited budget and you can only grab one or two of these things.
That's real interesting that you bring that up, and we're going to talk about the Action 6 coming up here in a minute. But what's real nice for me is I still have $175 of DJI credit to use, okay? So what I was going to earmark that for was going to be for the Action 6, because that'll really cut that price down like crazy.
And did you see that we didn't know this last week, but there's rumors out there that the Action 6 got its FCC approval 11 months ago.
I heard that
before it was even actually built. It's rumors that it's got approval already. And another thing, there's also rumors, Bill, that the Neo 2 may be available on DJI's U.S. website. That's a rumor that's been going around the past 24 or 48 hours. Now, I have no, I can't centralize this anywhere or another, but that's out there that people are not positive that it won't be on DJI's U.S. website.
Yeah, I've seen some.
And the only way that would be possible, Bill, is what if they smuggled a whole couple pallets in the U.S. already, right? Because we know what happens when you ship it straight from China. The guys at customs grab it and say, "Oh no, no, no!" Right? But if they somehow sneaked a couple won't say pallets, but whether the ship containers in of it, that could happen, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, like I told people, hang tight on the Neo 2 until the 13th. We may see some things that might surprise us. Okay, so
Right, because we expect all the leakers like Jasper them, they say that the real selling price of the Neo 2 drone battery only is $239. So if they're correct on that, these South Koreans are marking up $100 and charge you shipping.
yeah.
So, and of course, there's U.S. people selling on eBay too, but they all have it for they're selling it for $1,200 and things like that. So, whatever you do, Bill, don't buy it off a U.S. based seller because he's gonna charge you 4 or 5x the real price.
Yeah, they're gonna really jack that up. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about here, in a lot of because it seems to be a real hot topic with people, is the Avata 360.
Yes.
And they showed some promotional pictures, and I know what Marcus said. Some of it looks like it may be Photoshop. Well, I'm 50-50 on that. I don't know, but
Yeah. Plus, when's the last time Jasper and Igor got something this wrong?
Yeah, they won't. Yeah, they see. That's one thing with both of them that Astitalev got a lot of stuff wrong. Okay, but with Jasper and Igor, it's like been. I can't remember when they've gotten something very wrong. Okay,
And even when there is a photoshopped image or whatever, they say it. They even say this is photoshopped.
Exactly here. Okay, the 360 drone that can do it all. The Avata 360 will capture a 360 8K video, probably with the same specs as the Osmo 360, but also be flown as a normal FPV drone. Safety first, LiDAR is added with 4 front sensors, visual camera sensors, and LiDAR. The 2 side sensors already been spotted on the sides. It's not expected to have rear sensors as well, just like the Avata 2. Therefore, we can easily conclude the Avata 360 have omnidirectional sensing and advanced tracking capabilities for tracking cyclists and cars here. OcuSync 4.0, possibly 04 plus transmission. DJI goggles N3 in the newly leaked pictures with the woman. You can also see a man holding a DJI RC2 remote. This makes me believe the Avata 360 will be another OcuSync 4.0 product. Avata 360 price and release date. Wouldn't be surprised if 360 will start out with a drone-only price of $1,200 euro, and they would try to release it before Christmas. DJI always watches the competition closely, and I think anti-gravity should be worried for international sales at least. That's all for today. Cheers, Jasper. They're definitely trying to beat this December 23rd date with this run.
And also anti-gravity's release date too, which is rumored to be before the 23rd also.
Yeah, I've heard something like that. So things are coming fast and furious here. But I want to echo what a lot of people said. I know, I was in the chat on Drone Nation and I watched, and a lot of people were of the opinion, and John Flynn was great. He kind of echoed me, I don't have time for this post-processing for 360 stuff. Okay. Flying the drone is one thing. All right. And getting footage off of it is fine. But I don't have time to, if there's an app on my phone, to put it through that and then get it out onto the computer and try to fit it in for what, 10, 15 seconds of video? I mean, there's a lot of work for that video. And it's just, I can't justify that with my workflow. Okay. It's enough for me to get, get a 20-minute video out there where I'm doing, where I'm doing screen grabs and B-roll and everything. It takes me a good 45 minutes to get that together and process just on its own. Adding the 360 stuff in it would just, easily double or maybe even triple that until I would.
No, you may never get a new video released.
Yeah. If I was doing a 360 like that, yeah, it would take forever to do that. So, while people are excited about it, and I really thought that they were going to go ahead and do another Avata with this, but I think what DJI did, I think they took a 180 when they heard that anti-gravity was coming out with a 360 drone using the Insta360 camera. I think they took a 180 with that, and I think that's where they went and decided to do the 360 on the Avata. I think it was destined to be the Avata 3, but I think they said, you know what, we're just going to scrap that and do the 360. That's
Yeah,
just
well, that was
that.
my first take also, but people say that they look close at it. They say it's smaller than the Avata, that's more Neo size. And also some of the rumors say that it could be an under 250-gram drone. So this may be a little bit of a hybrid of the Avata 2 and the Neo 1. Uh,
Well,
if
you know,
it is truly an under 250-gram drone.
well, what I gotta say is, I really think, if that pricing is accurate, what's talked about in that article from Jasper, that's expensive. Okay, I agree, Johnny. I agree 100%. I don't see a need for it. I really don't. You know, for the kind of footage that I want to get and work with in my videos, no, that's not part of it for me. I mean, that's
Bill, yeah, Bill, I understand everybody's point, and I make that point too. But you got DJI and Insta360, which is kind of behind the anti-gravity drone. You got two big companies out there. They're betting against what we're saying here, and not just one company. Two companies have done the market research, and they think that this thing's going to sell.
well, and here again is what I think. Okay, now my perspective is from all our wonderful viewers here. On Drone Nation, Rotor Talk, Coast to Coast Drones with Bill Thomas and Johnny Show and Ray Show. That's my perspective, is what I'm seeing it from,
Yeah.
and from what I'm hearing from everybody here. Okay, I think we kind of have a universal opinion, and I think Marcus would agree as well too, that the 360 isn't really our cup of tea. All right, because that's not part of our normal workflow. That's not part of what we do. That's not part of, I look at John Flynn. He has some great stuff that he's doing right now. Fall is just full bloom up in Michigan where John lives. Just some fantastic, John, and they're great. That's great stuff, John. If you're watching tonight, really good stuff. I really enjoy seeing that. But don't need 360 with that. I mean, you're capturing some great scenery out there, Ron. There's no need for like a 360 perspective of things like that. All right, for me. But I think you're right. I think it'll probably sell well, and where it's going to sell well will be the Gen Xers. Okay, they're going to eat this kind of stuff up. Those that do the Instagram and TikTok kind of videos, okay, they're going to eat this up because it'll give them their quick 15, 20, 30 seconds of just an amazing shot of a video, and they'll be able to get this out there, and they'll probably put them out on YouTube as well too. Who knows? But I think this is what they're aiming for with this market. But if you also look at it, okay, that's a pretty steep price, $1,200 for this. Okay,
So
coming
you
out of
think
the
that if
gate.
the anti-gravity comes in considerably lower, let's say the anti-gravity is 800 or something dollars, do you think that would help anti-gravity take this portion of the market from DJI?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I think so. Pri- you know, the old adage is, in sales, and I was in sales for a while, price is everything. Well, and you know what? You can have everything in the world, but if you haven't priced that right, it's just going to sit on the shelf and collect dust. Okay,
Especially if there's a competing product that's priced better
exactly.
and gives you a lot of the same features.
And conversely, if you price it right, your shelves are going to be empty because it's constantly going to be sold. So that's what you have to look at
So we
as
we
far
we
as
get
far as
possibly
that's
a 360 wars coming before Christmas between two big companies in this space.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, you know, um, Now one of the things that, and I'm gonna bring this
And
slide up
before
here.
we get totally off that, Bill, how do you think DJI did with their 360 camera? The Osmo 360 they released in the rest of the world back in was it August, September period, somewhere in there. How do you think that's done for them? Because we know they're competing against Insta360, who's been the leader in that category for years, and of course GoPro threw their 360 camera out right after DJI did. So you think DJI made any real headway into the 360 space with their Osmo 360 camera?
I was thinking about that, Ron, and I think they had a hard time selling it, because I remember it wasn't long after it released, DJI had some sale prices on it, and that was really it's highly unusual. I mean, the action.
It's definitely priced sharper than the competing Insta360 product.
Yeah, exactly. And again, I DJI, while I think they're very good in terms of their marketing capabilities and everything, they may have missed the boat as far as pricing is concerned on that, because they priced themselves out, I think, on this when they released it. So that's why they had to go ahead and try to drop it. And you fight a never-ending game. If you've priced it too high initially when you've come out with that product, then you got to backtrack and you got to lower that price. And it's going to be harder to get people interested versus if you come out of the gate with a very competitive price right away within X number of dollars of your competitor, that's going to grab people's attention. But if you're like 100, 150 over your competitor, people are going to look at your competitor first. I mean, it's only going to be natural for something like that. That's my 2 cents on all this.
Right.
So, another thing here, I wanted to go ahead and show this here. This is on the Neo 2. This talks about the launch here, 13 November 2025, 12 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, which is probably about 8 our clock time. It's called Fly Your Way, and it's obviously it's for the Neo 2. But and I wanted to get this out here again as a reminder to everybody. Don't go out there. Don't go ahead and look on eBay. Save some of them as favorites and go back there and take a look. Wait till the 13th before you do anything, okay? Because you might be able to get some better prices out there. Some of them may have shipping included with that.
Like I said, they seem a little overpriced right now on eBay.
Yeah. That's why I would sit back, because everybody's excited and they want to get one, okay? And I get it and I understand it. But if you hold back a little bit and take a look, you'll probably get a better price. So that's why I went ahead out there to do that. Now, one of the things here that I wanted to go ahead and focus on, and I really like, I like Russ, and I think Russ has some great videos, but he really kind of hit the nail on the head on this one. And I know Rick Smith did too, because I tossed a coin on this. And I wanted to get.
Yeah, Rick put a great video out there this weekend. Yeah.
I wanted to go ahead and get this one out here, and this one's from Russ, and I think next week I do want to talk about Rick's video, and we're gonna talk about that next week here. Let's get one thing straight about the DJI ban, okay? This rumor is false, and Russ goes into it. I mean, it's real simple. The biggest misconception here is so many people believe the drones they currently own will suddenly stop working on December 23rd. The ban does happen, okay? And more fuel was just added to this information this past week when the FCC approved for itself that it could retroactively ban access to our network to products that had previously received approval. So many people think this means that once a proposed rule goes through all the hoops and finally gets approval, the current drones will no longer work. It will be legal to fly in the United States. And I hope this is what you get. I hope this is a takeaway from this video. If you currently own a DJI drone or action camera or power station or anything for DJI, it will continue to function normally should an FCC ban occur. On December 24th, every DJI product that you have will continue to work, okay? What about a firmware updates, okay? Nobody's officially stated about that. We don't really know after the fact. Anyone who tells you they know for certain what will happen with product firmware updates really has no clue. But the one thing that I want to tell people is this, okay? There's a thing called DJI. There's a thing you can download called DJI Assistant 2 for consumer drones, okay? It has every firmware update for every drone that DJI currently has out there, all right? And that's available on the web. And those downloads are available on the web. It's not tied. You can go out there, and if, your drone matches what's on there, you can go ahead and download that. I want to make sure that people do know that, okay? Understanding retroactive ban. So what's the latest move from the FCC mean when they say retroactive? Let's assume you get one of these for the holidays, Mini 5 Pro. Will it be bricked? I mean, a waste of money since it's now after the FCC deadline, December 23rd. No, because it's already purchased and was purchased as an FCC-approved device, and it does have that, okay? Now, what if you purchase this drone on January 1st? Will it work? Will it be legal to fly? Yes, because the Mini 5 Pro has already received FCC approval. And even though the FCC may vote to ban it retroactively in the future, that ban must go through the whole legal process of a notice of proposed rulemaking. There's a lengthy process that must occur, and it has to be put out for discussion to the general public. Now, let's say it's July 2026, and the FCC has gone through the entire process of retroactively removing approval for the Mini 5 Pro. And let's assume they choose a date of August 1st, the retroactive ban becomes active. So does your Mini 5 Pro you purchased back in January become a paperweight? Well, this is where things get kind of cloudy. Some experts say no, everything will work just fine. And the worst thing that will happen is that no one will be able to purchase the brand new Mini 5 Pro in the US any longer. But other people have said yes, because it's a ban on using our communication network that will limit how that drone will fly, because it won't be able to communicate with your controller or with your phone. So that aspect is still unknown. Which products will be affected? Personally, I don't think the FCC is going to target drones like the Mini 5 Pro or Mini 4 Pro or the Avata or DJI Action Camera or anything like that. When I think it comes to retroactive actions, I think it's just my opinion. These retroactive bans are going to come into play for drones like the Inspire or Matrice series or other industrial series drones that are typically used for commercial or industrial purposes. The retroactive component will not be a blanket ban, you guys. It will be targeted and focused here. So anything purchased before DJI gets added to the FCC covered entity list, which is December 23rd, will most likely not be affected, at least not consumer drones. After that date, you won't see any newly announced DJI products available in the United States. After that date, you'll still be able to purchase and use products like the Mini 5 Pro, yes. You find them because it's already received approval, and you'll continue to be able to purchase DJI products after December 23rd, as long as they previously received FCC approval. Again, I'm sorry to keep repeating myself, but I want to be very clear. A retroactive ban involves a process. It won't be an instant ban, and it won't be a blanket ban, and that's how it's supposed to be. And the impact on commercial users is where I think I agree with Russ on this. Final thoughts on the ban. I truly believe DJI products, the majority of its own right now, will be purchasing in the coming weeks, will not be affected at all. That's my honest opinion. But you need to base your purchasing decisions on your own perceived risk. Wouldn't it be nice if you just wake up one day in a couple of weeks and see the news from DJI has passed the government audit and won't be added to the entity list? Then all these videos that people are making, getting us all riled up, including myself, would be for nothing. We just stressed out for no reason. I'd be okay with that. I don't know about you, but I think that'd be pretty cool. Okay. So hit the thumbs up on your way out. All right. All this being said, Ron, okay, Hail Marys have been known to occur at the last minute. We've seen them happen literally.
TikTok got a Hail Mary.
TikTok got a Hail Mary at the 11th hour, 59th minute, and they're still they're functioning, and they did actually find some things with TikTok. So and obviously they got corrected. So I kind of am leaning in Russ's camp here, that I think something's going to happen here. All right, and what I think is going to happen is I think it's going to be multifaceted here. I think they're going to target the commercial drones, like the Inspire, Matrice, and also the DJI agricultural type drones that they have, because a lot of United States farmers use the DJI agricultural drones here because it makes spraying their fields so much easier and precise than even using an airplane. I mean, airplanes
go ahead and hurt the farmers. That makes sense.
Yes, exactly. Let's go ahead and hurt the farmers here. I really think there's going to be some kind of compromise that's going to happen on or around this date. What all it's going to involve, what it's going to entail, who it's going to entail. I don't know that. I don't know. But I really think in this instance, I really think what we're going to see here is I think consumer drones are going to be okay. I think we'll still be able to fly them. I still think we'll be able to get firmware updates for them. I think in the interim, we may have a period where we won't be able to buy them here in the United States through DJI's website. But, if they're already approved, like the Mini 5 Pro, the Mavic 4 Pro, obviously the Neo 2 is coming up, and some other products that are already received FCC approval, okay, I would go ahead and get them. I mean, I wouldn't hesitate. And I really think that come next year, when, if something really comes down with all this, we'll still be able to use them. There won't be any problem with that. And we can always go out to eBay to get batteries, chargers, propellers, that type of thing. But I'm stocking up anyway on the batteries and the props and the chargers. I've got a spare charger, spare batteries for the Mini 5 Pro. I got two extra batteries for the Mavic 4 Pro, a charger, and also the charging station as well too. So it's and Russ is right. A lot of it is how you perceive things with this. Okay. And Ron, this is an area we're walking down our path that we haven't walked before. Okay?
Uncharted territory.
Yeah, it really is uncharted territory. It's like we're going for a trip without a road map or GPS here. All right. And we're hoping that road sign that tells us our destination is X number of miles ahead is really there on this road.
And a lot of people feel the government's against them. The government's not against you. It's a core group of maybe like 3 or 4 or 5 people in the government that are against you.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Hey Bill, I'm looking at the chatter. I'm off topic here. The chatter, they say that they're seeing this is a small feed. It looks like we're broadcasting from a mobile phone. They say, and on my screen, in the center, in the center, I'm seeing the widescreen, but to the left, I'm seeing the small screen they're talking about. It looks like we're broadcasting in like a TikTok type thing.
Yeah, StreamYard just added this today, and I was forced to do it. I didn't have a choice. Oh. So if you're watching on mobile, you can see us. The size is cut down for mobile, and if you're watching us like on a PC or a desktop or a tablet, it's like the normal size. So that's why you see.
What I'm saying. I think some people are watching it on a computer and they're seeing the mobile version.
Wow.
If I'm reading the comments right.
Yeah, I don't know. That I don't know. I don't know.
Do we have a lot of people watch the show on mobile?
Yeah, I don't know that. That's a good question. If you guys are watching on mobile, if you have like the thinner version of that, drop a comment down there to let us know about that. This is something that StreamYard added today or within the past couple of days, and they're forcing everybody to do this.
Now Dronoki's saying his is fine, but Bill Thomas says he's seeing the mobile version on a computer.
That's funny. That's funny. I'd have to email StreamYard about that because I have no idea. Like I said,
RJ Redding's on an iPad Pro, and he's even seeing it small.
Okay.
So sorry, folks. We don't know what's going on here. Sorry for people that are seeing us on mobile.
Well, I think I know. I think I can answer that. All right. I think the link that was put out there. All right. There are 2 links for the show tonight because when I went out to YouTube, all right, there was a link for just the short version, and then there's a link for the long version. Gotcha. And I think I may have put that link for that short version out there, and I think that's why some of the people are seeing it like that. So
Drone Stars is saying he can't get the landscape, so maybe go back and get the landscape link instead of the mobile link.
Yeah, let me. You know what?
And Danny Kenny says he sees 2 versions on YouTube, and that's what I'm seeing, Danny. I'm seeing both versions side by side. I'm seeing the widescreen and then the mobile right beside it. So I was wondering what was going on, Bill. Why I was seeing a double image? I thought I was doing something wrong.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead out here and take a look right now out on.
And KC Crime Fighter says I always watch from my phone and my smart TV. And you guys are coming up different on my smartphone.
Yeah, now it's coming up here, okay, is 2 live streams. I'm out on my, let me go ahead and see if I can share this here.
Sorry to disrail the show there with that, Bill.
Yeah, I want to go ahead and show you guys what I'm seeing right here. Now you can see right here in the middle.
Okay.
Right here, there's 2 of these. Yeah, there's 2 of these right here, and one shows 24 watching, the other one shows 43 watching. And if I were to guess, this is probably the one that I'm going to do. Now, I have the option to do one or both, and I think what I'm going to do next time is I'm just going to do the one. I'm not going to do the other one. Okay. So I apologize to all you guys if there was any confusion about this at all tonight, because I did not mean to do that.
Technical difficulties, they used to always say in the old days, Bill.
Yes, technical difficulty, something, stand by. Technical difficulties. We'll be back in one moment, kind of thing.
Hey, speaking of technical difficulties, and I only want to talk about this for seconds, but did you see the blow up on the internet this weekend? You heard recently that YouTube TV lost their contract with Disney. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're on YouTube TV, you don't get all the Disney channels. That includes ESPN. Well, a whole bunch of people didn't see the football this weekend. In fact, people in Maya were outraged last night because they did not get to see the Eagles because they did not have, ESPN on their YouTube TV. So there was a lot of uproar over that struggle between YouTube TV and Disney or whatever. And Disney's been promising a $20 refund, I guess monthly until it's fixed, but that doesn't pacify anybody who didn't get to see the Eagles last night.
So, yeah. Now, what I do, I have ESPN too, because I bought it because some of the Panther games are only going to be on ESPN too. So it's like $12 a month. Right. And it means I can watch it from my laptop or my tablet or my phone if I had to. But I can stream it on my TV as well. But that also picks up ESPN things as well too on there, live broadcasts that are going on. So and you have your choice of being able to do it.
And maybe I can sign the product for you because I'm about to get I'm about to get Disney back because the Beatles anthology is coming out on Disney the night before Thanksgiving with an extra episode this time. So I'm going to be getting my Disney all ready for the re-release and remastering of the Beatles anthology series.
Well, there you go. There you go here. Well, that was, I mean, I think we've kind of covered our topic here, and I'm really going to I think I want to spend some time next week. I do want to talk about Rick's video because Rick's video was equally as good as Russ's. I tossed a coin and we looked at Russ's video, and Russ, I want to thank you for doing that video because I think last week, I kind of let in and I kind of talked about it, and is one of the things that's really been frustrating me is seeing a lot of these, what I'll call, they're these tech channels, but they're not really normally drone tech channels. They're coming out there with DJI ban, DJI drone ban. Okay.
Why, Bill? Because they know if they put DJI drone ban in their titles and keywords, that guarantees a lot of clicks.
Exactly. That's why they're doing
even that. Not telling you anything you didn't know already.
Exactly. And, it just, and I think Russ Russ would agree with me here. It's just like, we want to get the truth out to you guys. Okay. And what I want to say for those of you who may be watching us for the first time or are new to drones or everything. Okay. Follow a drone reviewer that's been out there, whether it's Marcus or Ron, myself, Johnny, Ray, Bill Thomas, any of us that are out there, Ken Herron, Kelly Shores, Billy Kyle, Ken Dono, follow a channel that covers drones, okay, and get your information from one of those, all right? Don't go out there to some tech media channel that that has never covered drones before and saying, oh, disaster, DJI drone disaster, they're banned, or, some sensational headline to get you in, and they're telling you the same thing that we're telling you, okay? They're getting you all hyped up, and we want to pass on that truth to you guys. We want you guys to
just go over to Drone XL and read the articles from Castello. He's a more of a level-headed reporter on these issues.
Yeah, Hay's been really good at reporting that. So that's where we're at as far as the drones are concerned. Now we've reached the portion where we're talking about football and Steeler Nation, guys. Okay, I want to let you know that. So going forward
now we get the real controversial stuff, Bill.
The next few minutes, we're going to be talking about Steelers football.
Someone banned the Steelers offense on Sunday night.
Well, the first thing I want to say is this. It was like a home game for the Steelers there, okay?
I saw a lot of
there were more Steeler fans there than LA Chargers fans there.
Well, right? LA football teams are notoriously badly supported out there, right?
Yeah, they're very poorly supported.
And it's really the San Diego Chargers. I'm never going to feel like saying the LA Chargers. That's the San Diego Chargers, Bill, and they were supported down there.
Oh yeah, they were supporting San Diego. So all with all that being said, okay, I have to say this, and I'm going to come out and say this right now, that was Aaron Rodgers' worst performance as a Steeler, and maybe his worst performance in the last 3 or 4 years. Okay.
Yeah, but
Easily.
let me defend. I don't often defend Aaron, but like I turned the game on. I was a little late. It was 3-0 Steelers when I turned on, right? So I started watching it, and I saw Aaron Rodgers get the safety in the end zone, but his own lineman hit him in the arm and knocked that ball loose.
Oh, I
That's
know
it
that.
wasn't Aaron Rodgers' fault. That lineman inadvertently knocked it out of his hands, and that caused the safety. And then I saw it go to 5-3. But the Steelers defense, Bill, what has happened? All of a sudden, they were playing good defense. They were even covering receivers. And I saw they moved their $30 million quarterback to free safety, but they were doing a good job out there. But right before halftime, they hit McConkey ran a route where I don't think anybody in the NFL could have covered that, but he did that double thing that Collinsworth talked about, and he shot in there for the TD. I mean, I'll give him a break on it. Nobody would have covered that, what McConkey did.
Oh, no, I agree. I agree with that.
But then the second half, I think Pittsburgh's defense, there were too many 3 and outs on the offense. The defense was just on the field too long. It was 3 and out. And the announcers pointed out, Collinsworth, them, that the Steelers, that one receiver they got from Seattle, Metcalf, he was always supposed to be, but they don't have a second guy. Rodgers doesn't have an option to go to. And the smart teams, they're going to double up Metcalf and force him to go to a second option.
Well, you've heard of Colin Cowherd. Have you heard of him? He's a famous football.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I watched the video by him, and he says, you know what? The one team, he said, I haven't been able to figure out this year is the Steelers. Okay. You see a game like they played against the Colts where it just about everything was right for them on both sides of the football, and you think they've got their stuff together, and then you see a game like they did against the Chargers. And one of the things
they hung in there tough. The defense, they were pretty impressive in the first half, the whole team, but the defense was really impressive.
One of the things that he brought up, and it really made a lot of sense, they are one of the oldest teams in the NFL, okay?
And highest paid.
And highest paid, okay? And I'll bring something else into the equation here, okay? The Pittsburgh Penguins they weren't expected to do anything, and they're playing fairly decently. But the other night they ran out of gas, and they said the reason they ran out of gas is their average age is up in the high 30s, okay, which is old, okay? Right. And it's the same thing for the Steelers, okay? I think their problem is, and you hit the nail on the head, the Steeler offense was doing so many 3s and outs, all right? The defense was on that field the whole time. No wonder why San Diego was able to take control of the second half, all right, as far as that's concerned. I mean, had they had a decent pass rush, okay, they'd have gotten to Hebert like all night long. I mean, he was just for the picking,
he was under pressure. I mean, I don't know how many sacks were. They put a lot of pressure on him. And how about a couple times? I think two plays the same lineman blocked passes at the line of scrimmage on him.
Yeah,
not passes down. I mean, the Steelers defense had nothing to be ashamed about. And the second half, remember McConkey caught that long pass? I was for sure it was going to be like a 75-yard TD, but luckily they did have their $30 million corner free safety. He ran down, and here Collinsworth said no other free safety would have ran him down like what's his name did.
Well, one of the things that I saw on the sidelines, like you look at Aaron Rodgers at his face. I think when he gets hit, Ron, he gets really rattled. All right. And I think he was rattled the entire game. And he had this look like he wanted to kill somebody on the sidelines. Like he's very emotional, and he wears his emotions on his sleeves. Okay. And I don't know if you saw this clip. This was a very telling clip. I watched the post-game press conference with Tomlin. Okay. More to laugh than anything else. But a reporter goes out and asks him, what did you think of Aaron Rodgers? You know what Tomlin's answer was?
Oh, I'm afraid.
Yeah. This is what he said back to the reporter. What do you think? That was his answer back to the reporter. Then he went on. He was really terse with these reporters.
He should have stood up for Rodgers then, right? He should have.
Oh, he was very terse with these reporters. And then he said to another reporter, you have to ask him. I can't answer that. You have to ask him. All right. And I'm like, wow.
He should be defending his quarterback up there. It wasn't Rodgers' best game, but it wasn't all his fault out there.
No, and I think part of the problem too is the offensive line was horrible that night.
Yeah, I mean, if you a veteran quarterback, is it smart to have a consistent running game for a veteran quarterback?
Yeah, and Warren's a good back, okay? If you have an offensive line that can block and do what they're supposed to do. And I think they completely forgot themselves. I think Warren had a couple of good runs, and that was it for the game. They didn't convert a third down until the fourth quarter, Ron. Till the fourth quarter is when they converted their first third down. I mean, how's an NFL team play like that?
Wow.
I mean, seriously. And then special teams, okay? Everybody's like, Boswell misses a kick. Now, he's human, and that does happen, and I understand that.
And he did kick a long one earlier in the game, right?
The muffed punt, okay? I'm like,
oh, yeah. What was
that? Lord. If that thing's tumbling, everything, you get out of the way, okay? If they down it at the one, so be it, okay? Yeah. At least you have the football, all right?
Right.
That was just, wow. I mean, wow. I can't say enough about that. And then I saw Rich Eisen today, and you know who Rich Eisen is. Okay?
Yeah.
And he's talking about Tomlin and the whole deal and everything. And I said, you know what? Okay. And I put a lengthy comment out there, and it really gets to me why all these uppity football announcers and figureheads like Rich Eisen, they're like, oh, Tomlin's the greatest thing since sliced bread. And I put on there, I listed everything. Okay. I said he has no coaching tree. He's incompetent when it comes to managing the clock. His play calling is abysmal. He's horrible at trying to select people in the draft. He knew Ben was retiring, and he did nothing to go out there and to try to find and draft a quarterback for the future. Okay. Instead, it's quarterback by committee right now.
And then, now he goes one overage quarterback on Wilson to another overage one in Rodgers. So,
yeah. And then I saw another video clip, and this was from Sunday night, right after the game. All right. And it was Tony Dungy. Now, I heard something recently, and somebody told me who's on a Fire Mike Tomlin group page. And there actually are group pages named Fire Mike Tomlin. Okay. He said out there, he said, the Steelers were ready to hire, what was it? Not Craig Wolfley, but there was another one. Russ Grimm. The Steelers, when Cowher had announced that he was going to retire, okay, Russ Grimm was heir apparent to the NFL head coaching job for the Steelers. It was a shoo-in until Tony Dungy called up Rooney and said, you need to hire Mike Tomlin. All right.
Oh, boy.
And you know what? And I'll tell you what, Tony Dungy is someone who I have immense respect for. I've read his books, just a tremendous individual. Absolutely loved him in his playing days with the Steelers and as a head coach, just fantastic, okay? But I'll tell you this, all right? Because he was Tomlin's friend, okay? That's why he got him that job. Most people do not know when Tomlin was defensive backs coach for the Vikings were next to last in the league in pass defense, okay? And I'm like, how did this guy get hired? Well, then somebody posted today, well, the Giants fired their coach. Somebody said Giants could offer him $25 million a year for a trade. I said, take it. I said, you know what? I said, we can get a six-pack of Bud Light for him. As far as
I thought you did some old practice footballs.
Or some old practice footballs, okay? Because, it's just like, and I kept saying.
You probably go up there and help him pack his bags, right?
Right. Look at the schedule that they have left, okay?
I saw you posted that. You said they need 5. They need to win 5 out of 8 to guarantee.
They're not going to do that. The Ravens are going to clean their clock, okay?
They got the Ravens twice.
They got the Ravens twice.
But they do have the Browns on there, and they do have some Miami on there. They got some bad teams on there.
They got the Browns, Miami, and the Bengals. Well, look what Miami did. Who knows? They beat the Bills this weekend.
Yeah, Miami's been wildly inconsistent. They're showing some signs like, well, their coach is on the hot seat big time.
Oh yeah, Daniels, he's on tremendously on the hot seat. But there's not 5 wins there. Okay, they may get 2, they may get 3. They're not going to get 5 wins out of there. And guess what? Tomlin's going to have his first losing season, and he won't make the stinking playoffs. All right,
and he rides on that no losing. Always a winning season, non-losing season. He rides on that. He rides on that stuff like nobody's business, Ron. So, but I mean, they got their. I mean, what they're playing? They got the Bengals coming up this weekend at home. Like, who knows how that's going to go?
I'm like,
Yeah,
I'll say this.
the last time they played the Bengals, Flacco had 10 days, had 10 days of practice there, or whatever. He torched him.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm going to say this. The game's in Pittsburgh. I have no idea. That's a toss-up. I think the Steelers might win against – I think their wins are probably going to come against Cincinnati – or not against Cincinnati, against Cleveland and probably Miami. I think they're playing Chicago in Chicago. I think they're going to lose that game, all right? They're playing the Bills. They're going to lose that game. They're playing the Ravens twice. They're going to lose both of those games, all right? So this illusion of getting 5 more wins the rest of the season, throw it out the door. It's not going to happen. Take it to the bank, deposit it like it's gold, all right? It's just not going to happen. Not going to happen.
It's going to be interesting, that's for sure.
Yep. That's where we're at. So any closing thoughts, Ron, before we wrap things up?
No, I mean, of course, the Eagles bounced back with it. Eagles had a weird game last night. When I got off of Jordan Nation last night, it was only 3-0 Eagles. So I went downstairs, and right away, the Eagles scored the TD, went up 10-0. But then immediately, Green Bay got the ball and made it 10-7. And then they tried to kick a 64-yard field goal to win the game, but the guy shanked it and went crooked. But it's it's definitely a weird weird season. And Green Bay is now falling to like something like 5-4-1. So they said their coach is on the hot seat if he doesn't make the playoffs this year.
Yeah. I mean, it's a crazy league and the way things are going on right now. Ron.
I mean, the Giants next to Jets, they've been the worst team since like 2000. They've had 3 seasons in a row, Bill, where they have only won 2 games in the first half. And they're the first team since the NFL merger to blow 2 double-digit leads with 4 minutes or less to go in the game in the same season. So, I mean, I have nothing against that coach. He seems to be a good guy, but, I mean, how much work can the owner put up with that track record, right, Bill?
Well, you know what, Ron? Yeah. And you know what? I listened to Tomlin's press conference, all right? And he starts out every time when they lose, he said, my hat's off to the LA Chargers. They're a good football team. You know what? You can go back 5 years, pick a loss. Say I lost to the Ravens. My hat's off to the Ravens. They're a good football team. He says that all the time, okay? And then he also said, now he's using a new word. It's not the standard. It's conformity or something or other, okay? He used it like 6 or 7 times in a 3-minute press conference. I'm like, seriously, dude? Okay. Wow. I'm just like, and you could tell he was upset during that press conference. And, I listened to Rodgers again. He said, yeah, I own it. I was bad, that kind of thing. But you never, ever hear that from Tomlin.
And Ben Rodgers, that one pick he threw bounced off of some receiver's hands, and one of his picks wasn't even his fault.
I saw that one. Yeah,
somebody's hands and flew in the air or whatever. He hit the receiver in the hands. I mean, it's
that was a deflection. And that's like last night. One of the goals that Vegas scored. It was one of the Panther players. He went off his stick and he directed it in the net. It wasn't going to go anywhere, and it went in the net, and they scored. I mean, that kind of stuff happens, and I get that. And Aaron Rodgers actually accepted some responsibility for last night. So who knows? We'll see what happens this weekend. Yeah. But the Steelers were 0-3 on primetime games this year. 0-3.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that.
Yep.
Oh, well, we said before, they have, when they play a top flight quarterback, or how do you say San Diego's quarterback's name, or Chargers, Herbert or
Bear? I think it's pronounced Bear.
Anyhow, when they face a top flight quarterback, they struggle, but they're better when they play a team like the Jets or somebody that has sort of we'll call them a second tier quarterback.
Yep, exactly. That seems to be their MO this season. So who knows?
Anyhow, we're looking forward to the Neo 2 this Thursday. Bill, we're not going. We've already did our kind of what do you call it? Release show for it. I'll put it in the stream again. If you want to see the release show, whatever, what do we call those things? The coming out party. Just go back to what we did 2 weeks ago.
Release party.
Basically, we had the same information. It's just whatever we said 2 weeks ago is still valid at this point, right, Bill? We really haven't learned a whole lot since then, because all we've seen is a couple, Chinese language videos where we haven't really got a whole lot of info from. So what I'm looking forward to Thursday is seeing a bunch of English language reviews of the Neo 2. Now I know we're not going to see the Americans reviewing them, but we can see the good European and Canadian reviewers.
Yep.
Like our friend, hopefully our friend in Canada,
Sean.
Sean, from help me out. I'm time's up. What's his channel? Anyhow,
Air photography.
Hopefully, air photography has it. We know he answers a lot of questions that a lot of other people skip over.
Yeah.
In his
Sean does a very thorough review.
There's a lot of good English reviewers, good Spanish, showing the drone or whatever. It's a lot of good European. So I'm looking forward to getting the kind of the nitty gritty on the drone that we did. Because a lot of the Chinese reviewers, they kind of whitewashed it. I mean, they were more commercials than they really were in-depth reviews.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I'm sorry about the dual broadcast. I'm going to address that next week. We're only going to go to one. I'm going to go to the regular one and not do the other one. I think I thought I had to do both, but apparently I didn't. I went back out and I looked at that. So we're good on that. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week. As always, it's a great day to fly. Take care, everybody.